like a like, and you can choose from there. But you have to go song by song, and it isn't as simple as just clicking the song. You gotta click, the three dots, then you gotta click add to playlist, then to what playlist you want it in, right?
Right.
I say Apple Music is easier because you can select a whole bunch of songs. Basically, you just scroll through your library, clicking song by song. That's all it is. Just pressing one button, you click a song, and and you can just scroll, add whatever songs. And then the biggest thing that I give it is that Apple Music allows you to put other playlists into another playlist. So, like, let's say you have one playlist, and there's a bunch of songs in there that would go well in another playlist. You can literally create a new playlist, right? And then you can literally go to your other playlist and scroll, and then just click a button, and it adds all the songs that are in one playlist to there. Again, this is probably an issue that only I go through because of how many playlists I make and how I have like a large number of songs to add. But that's one of my main arguments of Apple Music over Spotify.
Okay. I guess I would like to counteract some of the points you've made. So Spotify, as I've been using it for like a good 3 years, 4 years now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say some of the things that Apple Music also has on Spotify is the fact that you said that you could what did you say again? That you could add a bunch of songs from a playlist onto your own playlist?
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely do that on Spotify as well.
Are you sure?
I, for example, have implemented an entire intense studying playlist, and simply pressing on the three dots and just simply adding it to your library, or adding it to a playlist radio, or adding it to your own playlist, specifically, which one you select, adds every single song from that playlist into your own playlist.
I'm gonna try this live right now. We're doing this live. Create similar playlists. That's all I'm seeing, but there's nothing that says add to playlists.
That's odd. For me, I could just add. Well, let's see if I could add this entire playlist.
Because okay, let me go into more explanation while you try and do that, and you can feel free to interrupt me much. But when I say adding playlists, it's because I would create one playlist, right?
Right.
And let's say I just put in a bunch of my favorite rock songs, right?
Right.
And then I go and create a different playlist because I have a bunch of different genres. So let's say I just create a playlist where I'm okay, this playlist only has my rock, let's say rock songs that are good to listen to when you're trying to get in a good mood, right?
Right.
But then I create a different playlist where it's just all the rock songs I have in my entirety of the playlist. So it makes it easier to go and add that other playlist with songs already, just add them there so that it makes it less of a process of having to re-add them by just scrolling through,
Right.
Whereas Spotify, what I had to do, I remember, what's it called, when the first time I stopped using Apple Music, I had to go through the process of, clicking each song one by one and adding them to a playlist and stuff, which made it really difficult.
I see. Well, I'm able to do it. I think I'm also doing this live with the computer version, the laptop version, and the mobile version. So that's something that I'm not really familiar with in terms of how the user interface works with the mobile and computer version.
That's it. Well, all right, let's start there. Or let's move there if you're finished, of course.
Yeah.
Aesthetic-wise, which one do you look? Or well, see, I can only make this argument because I've seen both, but I don't know. Do you think Spotify's interface, is easy to navigate and simple, both mobile and computer?
Okay, so for mobile, I think it's really easy because it's when you start up the app, it's basically just 4 things. Or 3 things if you're a premium member, but it's just basically 3 things, which you have the home, which when you start off, it tells you what recently music you played, your favorite albums and songs, episodes of podcasts, new releases from different artists that you follow, and it has a search bar where it tells you your top genres, in which you could also check out different podcasts, concerts, themes of music, and then you have your playlist options, which is essentially just all the music that you liked and followed and have it in a specific playlist. Compared to the laptop version, where it's a bit more jumbled. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
It basically throws you everything, but just in a larger list.
Yeah.
On your left side of the user interface of the laptop version of Spotify, or just the computer version, you have your entire home, your browse, and your radio. But then you have an entire long list, if you have an entire long list of followed tracks, people you follow. And one thing I think is cool from the computer version is that if you have any friends that you follow from, I believe, on Facebook, you could actually hear the music they're also listening to live at the same time.
Yeah, the friend activity.
The friend activity? I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so here's what I'll kind of make arguments for Spotify, because I said I've used both and stuff. I really like Spotify's interface, at least on the mobile app, because it's really simple. It's just the 3 categories, search, your own playlist, and then just a kind of like browse/explore section, which I think is really good, and like, it's really simple to use and stuff. It's obviously there, but what's it called, Apple, it has 5. It has the library section, the radio section, which is kind of its own, where it's the different radios, right, based on different genres, artists themselves, kind of like how Spotify has specific. I think they both do it. I think Apple and Spotify both have not only playlists but radios for artists, and then I think both similarly, when it comes to the radio, it's gonna play artists that are similar to the artists you search. But like, the playlist is where you go just to get like solely their music. But Apple,
right.
The thing that's confusing about Apple's, which I would like give credit to Spotify that they don't do this as much, is Apple, it has a For You page and then a browse section, which you would think, wouldn't those kind of be the same,
You have
like, if you go to the browse/explore section, wouldn't you expect to see stuff that for like, I get like the page says For You, I found it weird that they separate it, but the For You just kind of shows what you've been listening to, similar to, like, again, the browse section on Spotify, and then it suggests a bunch of stuff that you might like based off of what you've been listening to, which again should be in the browse section. Not only are you going to browse to find new stuff, but you should be finding stuff that's similar to your, like. So I think that's an unnecessary split. And then
point.
Here's where I'll give an up again to Spotify, because I really like Apple Music's aesthetic look, especially that they added the dark mode to go along with the phone, so like, I obviously like it. Like, I wouldn't put either aesthetic above the other. What I will give Spotify credit for is their ability to I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but like, their ability to cater to their listeners, Like, I forgot to mention this. We're talking about the premium versions of both of these, because, Spotify regular version compared to premium. Well, at least on mobile, the premium version is definitely an upgrade, because, mobile, you can't even play songs individually, whereas on the computer you can.
Yeah.
Without having to, like, shuffle. But, like, I bring up catering to their listeners by saying the browse section and the recommendations they give you are actually very, at least in my experience, they're actually very close and similar to, like, the stuff I actually listen to,
Yeah.
Like, they'll look at what's in a majority of my playlists. They'll look at what the recent activities or, what you've been listening to the most. And they'll create different playlists, like they have the different, what is it, Discovery...
Yeah, Discovery.
I forget what day it comes out, but it's like a Discovery playlist that updates almost every week and shows you, what music is like that they think that you might like,
Yeah.
And they also create a playlist of like songs that you've been listening to the most, so that way, like, you know, if you're the type of person to track that, it shows it. But like, you know, they have the discovery playlist, and then they suggest you all these different artists, albums, songs, you know, that sound similar to what you've been listening to. Whereas with Apple Music, it's like you can listen to a song once, and then out of nowhere you're getting recommended all these songs and albums based off of a song you only listened to once, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Spotify, it's more so that it tracks your listening, like, just over a period of time, you know? Like, within this amount of time, what was he listening to? What genres was he listening to the most? What songs was he listening to the most? What artists? And then it goes and finds things similar, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I really enjoy what they do there.
I mean, I also want to add to that every year, at the end of every year, they also add like what you listen to, like how much you listen to, what new artists have you discovered, what sort of genres that you know that you're most attracted to. I don't think Apple Music does that.
No, I wish they did. Yeah,
they do not do that.
They don't do that. But dude, oh my gosh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was actually something I really enjoyed when I was using Spotify for a majority of the time. Was just how they did that. You know, I mentioned how they track to show, like, recommend you stuff. But I think it's something cool to, like, look at, you know, where it's like from the entire year, from January to December, these are the songs you listen to the most, these are the artists you listen to the most, you know, this is how many hours you listen to. I think it shows you how many hours you listen to, like, each, like, song or artist, right? I think at least for the artist, it shows you who is your top artist that you listen to throughout the year, you know. And then I think the one cool thing that they just added in, but, like, at the same time, you know, I don't like it in the terms that, like, it encourages gatekeeping. But I think it's also a cool way to, like, let, like, so that someone knows, you know, is, I don't know if you've seen it, like, they call it the Day One Club, where it shows you, like, what artists you've been listening to from, like, the very beginning, I guess you could say, or at least before, like, they got big, at least, or like at least it's like an artist that you've been listening to from, like, the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
Like, or, like, it shows you, like, oh, like, you're in the top 1% of this person's fans because, like, you've been listening to them a lot, you've been listening to them for a long time, you know. Which I think that's cool and stuff, but like I mentioned, you know, I think it encourages gatekeeping, because then you're going to start getting those people that are like, oh, you didn't listen to the artist since this time, so you're not a real fan. Oh, you only got to know this artist from this album, not from this album, so you're not a real fan, you know. That's the only downside I see to, like, keeping statistics like that. But at the same time, for just, like, personal enjoyment, you know, I think it's really interesting and a cool thing that they implemented, you know.
Yeah. I guess. Do you want to move on from this one?
Yeah.
All right. So I think this next segment will be about personal, like, usage. Does that make sense? Like, our own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me, I personally think Spotify might take the cake on this one. All right. Hear me out. All right. So when I'm gonna get into, like, the technical bits. You know. All right. So for Spotify, when you're streaming music, normally the stream quality, you know, the audio quality of the music can go up to 320 kilobits, which is basically, you know, the more kilobits you got, the more, you know, clear the music goes through your headphones, compared to Apple Music, which is only 256. So that's an entire, a good 64 kilobits that are missing. So you know, and that's the maximum for Apple Music compared to Spotify, which is maximum is 320. And not only that, I think Apple Music is very limited into what they and what you can use on it, if that makes sense. So for Apple Music, if you want to stream music onto other platforms, you could stream it onto you know, on your iPhone, if you have an Apple Watch, only you know, MacBooks, other PCs.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could also, but however, you cannot use Apple Music on other things like Roku, Amazon Fire devices, uh,